So the way that we worked in our company was extremely conceptual and very experimental. We tried out a lot of different things in textile design, in shaping, clothing, using a lot of maybe sculptural techniques or artistic techniques to find our expression. And these experiments have been primordial for our success, and at the same time they created an extremely interesting track for me afterwards. I ended up going into technology and production technology, new materials. And my interest in going to Pier 9, I was able to go to San Francisco to Pier 9 and was able to work with all these amazing machines, and the fact of getting all these tools that I didn't have before I started, when I just had my sewing machine and my normal printer, all of a sudden I could do so many different things. And some of these simple things like laser cutting that originally was just a decoration that we used at the beginning, all of a sudden it became something that could be used as a production technique that made a lot of sense. So I worked with making these pieces of clothing that you could laser cut and directly put up onto, so there was only one seam to be made in using the pattern making techniques that I knew from before. Doing the same thing with print and seeing how printing, doing everything flat, how it could come into shape out of one flat piece of textile. And since I had access to it, I could also look into how would it look in a biolab. Would I be able to also print with something else than just ink? Would I also be able to print with biomaterials? Would we be able to rethink how we're using textile in general? This is really, for me, the side that why I started Manufacture Copenhagen together with my partner, is that I believe in this bottom-up approach. And the director was speaking earlier about the legislations, and that is an extremely important side of it. I can't help with that. But I definitely believe that if we go from the bottom up and gather the people who are already motivated just by curiosity, and then we can bring them together and we can find solutions that way. The fact that people do not resist change, but the systems do, has been also a really big part of my thought pattern so far. And and rethinking things so both thinking big in the systems, because that's what we need to change if we're doing radical transformation. This is about being able to change every part of the system, which means everybody needs to be involved. So looking into all the different layers of this system. And then, of course, the consumer, which is the person that has to understand what we're trying to do. And from the review of managerial science, I'm just going to read it here, because it's crucial for organizations to flank their sustainable offers with appropriate communication activities in order to motivate consumers to engage in more responsible consumption. And this side of it is a side that designers have always been, well, that's what we're trained for, is to communicate to the consumer through our products. And so I believe that these designers have a very important role in being the translator from, we talk with the technicians because we have to get our products made, and we talk with the consumers because we have to get our products sold. So these small companies that have they have a very easy way of communicating between these two ends of the supply chain. So this is manufactured, the space. We're working on getting, we're pitching next week, crossing our fingers, for a space in central Copenhagen where we want to create this sustainable innovation center where we can bring all these different ends of the supply chain and of the, well, actually value chain together. And our aim is to identify and tackle these complex challenges through a playful collaboration and human approach, taking industry, manufacturers, creators, and consumers into account. So this is how we imagine the fact that there is both the big industry that is really important to have on board, the creatives, which are the ones that are the most flexible and the most in touch maybe with the directly with the consumer and directly with the manufacturer, and the consumers, which are extremely important, of course. So I have no idea how long time this is taking, but
5 minutes.
yes. So the one side of it is the idea of this lab, and we know this from the Fab Lab environment that we've been sorely missing in the textile industry. And the idea of this is to have a space where it's safe to play around and it's safe to make mistakes, and where you can get a lot of different people together in the same room to tackle challenges together. And then there's a side of it that's about education, also talking about making sure that the SMEs do not have the capacity to understand everything that's going on, either from a legislation side or from a manufacturing side. So making it easier for smaller enterprises to actually get involved in this process without using up too much of their resources. So education on that side, but also education for the public. And then engagement is the last one, which is the community spaces that are bringing in the customer, which is more inspirational, more exhibition spaces, workshops, seminars, etc. So that is the idea of this space. Hopefully it's going to be up and running soon. And yeah, this is just the layout with the different pieces that are involved, including a restaurant, very important, because you need to get people to talk together around food. And then the things that we've been doing in the meantime have been very much network-based. So we've been working with initiating a Nordic manufacturing network. So we're doing 3 seminars in September, looking into what do we have in Scandinavia already, or in the Nordic countries, and what can we do already today, instead of talking about what we don't have, what we lost, how many jobs we lost, how much we can't do. We're looking into what can we do. We're working with the Scottish company called MakeWorks that also talks about making manufacturers visible and bringing designers and manufacturers closer together. And we are partners in the Fab City for the Global Summit 2017. We're going to be helping to arrange. And the Fab City is a really interesting initiative because it talks very much about micro factories, about using the city as a local distributed network of mini factories. And this is a concept that is very interesting, I believe, for the fashion industry. And then I just want to say to the end that I'm really happy to be here, and that I'm really happy that people have taken this challenge up to bring people together, because yeah, exactly this, the facilitation and the coordination of these kinds of projects are so important to it's just so important with multi-partner innovation if we're going to be looking into innovating the whole ecosystem, that we're all talking together and that we're using everybody's expertise from all different sides of the value chain. And this, yeah, this project promises a lot. Very happy. Thank you.